All right. All right. Hello, everybody. Can YouTube see me? Because what happened yesterday happened today as well. If you guys can put a thumbs up or something, the ones on the YouTube channel. Hello, everybody. Let me know where you're joining from and how you're feeling, what energies are present. Hello, hello. All right, amazing. I'm gonna, okay, awesome. Please tie. Boom. All right, amazing. So, again, I don't know if YouTube can see me here, but I'm just going to continue because I'm not going to try to figure this technology out today. All right, so Taiwan. Let me see where people are joining. All right, how are you feeling? It's a gloomy gray day here, May gray, June gloom. It's usually in California, but oh my God, I'm getting used to this whole thing. Ibiza. Ooh. All right. Last year on my birthday, I got married to myself in Ibiza. Oh my God. Amazing. Taiwan, South Africa. Amazing. Welcome, guys. So glad to be here with you in this moment. Today is the day that I'm going to take a break in the next. Israel. Hello. 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 Next 4 days, I'm taking a break, and I'm so glad you guys are here. You made it. So I'm going to talk about embodiment and Vancouver. Okay, you guys can see me and hear me here. Amazing. Perfect. Let's go. So I'm Satya Lights and Palestine. Hello, guys. Welcome. Amazing. Israel and Palestine in the house. You know, so good. So good. All right. So I'm Satya Lights. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist. I'm a trauma-informed somatic embodiment mentor. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a medicine woman. I'm an artist. I'm a poet. I'm a lot of things. Renaissance age, right? Like this is the time to be in exploration of who we're here to be, right? So I am doing that in my life. So, and here to inspire you, hopefully. So today I said, where are you if you're not in your body? And you know, we think we're in our bodies, right? Like I can move my body, but like even in this moment, there are parts of me that are not in my body. Disclaimer. Disclaimer. So I wanted to a little bit talk about that. Like, what does that even mean? What do I mean by that? And what is embodiment? And for those of you who have been with me and, you know, following these little classes that we do on Instagram and following my work and have joined, you know, like my workshops and work with me, all of that. I love really, you know, bringing in the etymology of the word. So embodiment for me, like I'm going to explain what it means for me. And then also I'll explain what it says in the dictionary when you Google it. So it says tangible, to be in a tangible, visible form, embodiment, and then to give it a body and to represent it's to represent something in a human form. So, you know, there's different levels, and I'm going to actually touch into all of it today. And then I'm going to speak into whatever embodiment means as it pertains to trauma healing and shadow work and like all that jazz like that I love and super passionate about talking. So embodiment for me and where I'm looking from in this moment is to be in a body, to be in your body. And like I'm going to bring in the model of mind, and like the conscious mind and subconscious mind, and how we think we know, and like we are aware of what we're aware of is the conscious mind, and where we have the willpower, and we are like thinking, analytical thinking, decision making, and all of that is the conscious mind, and the rest is the subconscious mind, which we start the programming from the last trimester of the pregnancy, since we were in the womb, if not like even before, until the ages of 6, 7. And the entire subconscious and the entire programming from those ages, where we are literally learning everything that we know of, like since after dropping into this 3-dimensional realm in those ages. And especially the first 3 years are not cognitive memories, they are like somatic memories. And then the childhood adversity happens, and then the ancestral trauma and all of that stuff. And according to also this this body of work that I study, which is Gene Keys, I don't know if any one of you guys know, there's a teaching that says until we're 21, we're not like fully incarnated as a soul. I don't know, but it makes sense. So I'm not just saying, oh, we're not incarnated until we're 21. I'm not saying that. I'm saying there's an information that maybe actually that, rings true to me when I tune into it. So I wanted to share that. So embodiment is the connection of the mind and the body, and mind and the body is always connected. And one of the biggest, like the cranial nerves, the vagus nerve, the 10th cranial nerve, the vagus nerve, literally, is connected from this brainstem right here into, like all of the organs. And and it's like this bi-directional information exchange happening from the mind to the body, and from the body to the mind. Yet from the body to the mind is the 80% of the information. It brings more information from the body to the mind through the vagus nerve and all the tentacles. I don't know if you've ever seen a vagus nerve, a picture of a vagus nerve. I highly recommend you go Google it. And through the vagus nerve, we have like we're in communication with our brain. And the vagus nerve is also connected to the parasympathetic nervous system, and actually, like the nervous system, right? Like, and when we are talking about the regulation, we are definitely including like the vagus nerve into this thing. And like, it's important for us to really understand how this communication happens, what's happening in the body. And going back to the embodiment piece in the programming, and what I want to touch on is through having certain experiences that it may be, like there's a whole ACE study, adverse childhood experiences, and how it affects us being in our body, how it affects our life, how it affects, how we be in the world, and how it affects our health also, right? So through the experiences that we have, like trauma, I will say, and trauma, just to reiterate, I am sure you may have heard, and Gabor Mate beautifully puts it, says, trauma is not what happened to you. Trauma is how, like, as a result of what happens within the moment, how your nervous system, how your body, how you respond and react, and what happens in your body. So, part of my work, like I, interview people and ask, like, is there anything that you would consider as a trauma? The first response from everybody is like, no joke. It's like, no, I'm not. Like, I had a great childhood until like 2, 3 sessions we go into they're like, oh, okay. And, there's also things that so, and if at any time I had to turn on my computer back again. I don't know what's happening with this whole YouTube situation, but if you're here on YouTube, I see some people here. And also, if you're on Instagram, you can ask questions or make comments. I'm going to look at them. And so, yeah, we talked about the internal perception, and our disconnection from it. And through bringing awareness, and like certain somatic practices, and just like if you're like working with trauma resolution practices, as we become aware, like we resolve certain things, and then it's like we open space from the like basically cultivating regulation to actually hold certain energies and to be in the body. So we think we're in the body. We think we're creating our reality. We think we are doing all these things, but like what we think we know is only this tiny little portion of what's really happening. There's so much happening behind the scenes. That is why it's really important, like you may think you're safe, yet in certain circumstances, your body is signaling like not being safe. And are we present enough? And that cultivating that presence is also part of the embodiment process and the healing process and trauma resolution process. So they're all interconnected. So we talk about the shadow work. Shadow work is like becoming like aware of the parts of our psyche, and like really integrating them is part of the embodiment work, instead of like unconsciously moving through life. And doing inner child work or parts work is part of this embodiment work, and really becoming aware of the parts of the psyche. It's basically bringing these fragments that they're not really here embodied back into the body. And if you're not in your body, that means you're not present. And that means you're being operated and moved by the default programming, which has happened, like in the earlier stages in your life. And that's where you are. You're just not here in the body. And like certain energies, most of the time, the survival stress is moving, and like the survival stress affects the emotional like the emotional body, and from the emotional body it affects your mental body, your thought processes, and from that not being safe and not being in the body, that affects your emotional world, and that activates the thoughts, and then you continue looping thinking that you're here, but all the while you're not actually here, being operated, like continuing to being operated and moving in life with your default programming. And the entire healing process is like really bringing those pieces and the fragments back into the body, and remembering and opening space and cultivating capacity and expanding the window of tolerance to hold more sensation, more life in it. So that's why it's like all like really interconnected. The nervous system, and we talked about the vagus nerve. Your vagus nerve is bringing all the information back into the mind. Like there's more information coming up from your body to your brain than your brain to the body. So, but because of the lack of the interoception, and like not being aware of your internal perception because of the lack of presence, how this is like looping and it's affecting itself. Do you see it? I stand for presence. And, like we teach presence, like come into the moment. How can I come into the moment if all my parts are like somewhere and it's not safe to be here? And if I was like, physically abused, it's not safe to be here in the moment, like in this body. And I get to cultivate that, because when certain triggers happen, it just, like your body does, and your subconscious mind and your body doesn't know the difference if the whatever the trigger is like happening, if it's happening in this now moment, or like it happened in the past. Oh, you don't have to worry about it. It's just, you're just sitting in your living room having a PTSD, or you're having an anxiety. But like that's that system that activates that loop gets to be resolved and close itself, like whatever resolution energy gets to happen, so that it closes itself and resolves. And that's the release of the trauma. That's when we release trauma. We don't just think about releasing the trauma and release trauma. It gets to happen in the body. And when that happens, there is now more space in your body through the trauma resolution and cultivated safety, that now there's more life you can hold there. So that is capacity. Through, let's say, like we talked about the fight, flight, freeze, fawn. Fawn is just like it manifests itself as people pleasing, right? So because it's not safe to speak your truth, right? So fight, like or flight, you can't be there. So you're just like leaving. And flight energies is like, like you can't be here and your mind is all over the place. That's flight energies, and you're fidgety. And it happens in like, like if you're actually trying to meditate, like people are like, I don't know, I'm like moving and itching and scratching, like it's because even, I have so much respect for all these teachings and the meditations and everything. Yet I think this piece like gets to be really integrated, like the understanding of the nervous system and what's happening. If I am deeply, 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 deeply traumatized and it's not safe for me to be in my body, like, like going into a vipassana and trying to sit in this two shall pass is actually not going to be good for me. Trying to meditate and stay in it and stay present is not going to be good for me. There gets to be a certain level of understanding. And, like everybody is experiencing whatever they're experiencing. I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but in my experience, I think that is a whole new foundation. And what's his name? Peter Levine says, the founder of somatic experiencing modality, is like beautifully putting it, like when we know nervous system regulation, when we have that understanding, and when we actually cultivate that like tolerance and capacity, we will know what that means to be enlightened, or go walk that process like or path. Because you can't know enlightenment or like walk that path and hold that much energy and presence if you're not in your body. And everybody's going to have their own experiences. There's no right or wrong. It's just, this is a perspective, this is a lens that may support majority of us in our spiritual journey, even. Because ultimately we are the bridges, we're the rainbow bridges, like we're bridging the earth energies and the heavenly energies and the cosmic energies through this body. If you're not here, and if there's no like energy moving, like, because it's an information, right? Like, so like information, your communication with the divine also, it's, and your information, the communication with earth and you and divine, and like this is the, and all, like this whole thing is happening through your body. And the more we cultivate capacity, the more connected we can be to everything around us. Like people are, and I'm not saying this is a way or this is how it is, only how it is. Like, I don't know. I only know what I know. and I'm only following my curiosity and my own healing journey, and that is bringing me to this realm of like learnings and teachings, and it is really supporting my becoming and the way that I carry medicine today, the way that I carry information, and the way that I create my own reality. So it supports me. And what I was going to say was the I lost the train of that train of thought. So if it wants to come back, we will follow that. So we are we are actually really cultivating that capacity to hold energy to, and through that spaciousness and capacity, we are remembering more of who we are instead of blockages. And through that, we're getting more and more creative. And through our creativity, like it's like for everything to flow freely and for the wholeness to be remembered, because we're already whole. It's just, like this whole experience of being human and, having, signing up for a whole curriculum of forgetting and being wounded. And I don't even know that like whole like core human core like wounds even heal, because it's part of like being this like humanness. Yet we can really cultivate the presence, and through that presence, we can just like bring forth whatever information that gets to bring forth and go through our own evolutionary process through presence. Because ultimately, if you're not present, you're not here. What is like, it's just your mind is like full of thoughts, and what is creating the thoughts? A certain level of emotional like content, and emotional content, thought processes, and it's looping, and it's looping a certain level of programming. And it's great. I always talk about this, and I contemplate on this for myself. Like, I was reading this non it's a non-dual teacher, and he has this like line from his poem. It's like, nothing is enough when nothing is needed. So, like from the non-dual perspectives, we don't really need anything, but we can't really actually comprehend that if we can't even be present with it. So that's one of my contemplations for myself, that I am constantly contemplating, constantly asking, and that I believe for that level of mind and level of presence and level of awareness to be stabilized as a baseline, instead of just being a thought, and like, because we know what we know, and through the gates of this like beautiful quantum computer that we're in, that gets to actually start living in the body. So, um, I'm gonna read your comments, guys. Thank you so much. So, there are things we know. There are things that we read and it sounds like amazing. It spiritually resonates. There's like, it resonates with our heart, right? Yet it doesn't live in our bodies, because also we don't have space to move through life from those energies. So, it's great to say, yes, I am that I am. It's great to say, be present, be here in the now. It's great. Yet, for that to be an embodied in the body experience, I get to do my own part of actually opening space for that knowledge to live in my body. And there's so many different ways to do it and explore that. So many different ways to explore that. And even if you don't consciously know what you're holding, you can literally, like for those of you who have been doing I am that practices with me, that whole like somatic exploration practices that I used to guide, you literally ask your body a certain energy, and then like embody that energy. Allow your body to show you like what kind of energies you're holding. You can even see how much tension you're holding if you're not aware. And through certain practices, and like it's a moment to moment experience, really, and like unfolding. Like we gotta really cultivate tools to actually be present with it and learn and expand. And that's our evolutionary process, in my opinion. And it doesn't have to be this hard, oh my God, I need to do all of this kind of experience. It is literally using the technologies that we are given and really learning how to use, because nobody is giving us a here, this is how you use your body kind of experience. There's no user's manual. There's a lot of information, beautiful information, but are we curious enough to actually go into those experiences and like just check it for ourselves? And there's like a lot of interconnected, like your traumas and your psychology and look, your emotional content that you're moving through, they're all like, it's a whole system. That's why we got to actually really bring the whole system in and learn and be curious about being human. So that's my take about being in the body. Being in the body is like really learning about our nervous system. And really learning about, all the things that are supporting us, like, also eating well, also like whatever it is that you're really taking in, learn, being curious about your belief systems and your values and how you operate. It's one thing, I see it all the time. It's one thing to, say, yeah, I believe in this and I want to believe in this. Yet that gets to live in the body. So like it's becoming more and more like really connected with my work of nervous system and hypnotherapy, like deep subconscious work. Like it's just like it really beautifully integrating itself. So like your subconscious mind and what you don't know lives in your body, and using your body, as Dr. Joe says, using your body as an instrument of consciousness. How can you create and embody and like cultivate this presence? And through that, you will be so present with your moment to moment thoughts and patterns. What's moving, what energy is moving you in life? Because we are moved through life through certain energies and energies of the belief systems. What is moving you? Is it the idea of being unworthy and I don't deserve this? Like, because that's whatever we believe, we're going to be continuing to create and create and create. But it's just it takes like certain level of responsibility for ourselves to really cultivate self-love and like a whole new relationship with ourselves, so that it goes beyond just saying. So that also a part of embodiment, right? Like, so I am in integrity with what I say, and I love myself and I trust myself, and I am in integrity with myself enough to show up with that. And also I'm curious enough to actually explore and be the scientist of my own life and just explore what it really means to be in the body. So this is how I spend my time with, and this is what I do to support people. It's in, like a never-ending exploration and beautiful, beautiful body of work. And if you guys are interested in learning different tools and learning about like polyvagal, Stephen Porges's work, polyvagal informed nervous system healing tools, and actually learning about the energetics, how to map what's happening in your body and mix it and combine it with shadow work, like deep inner child work, parts work, subconscious work, emotional work. Be Your Own Medicine is the course that I created. So you can literally just, do all these things on your own. And my thing is, like, as a human being, I want to empower every single person to do this, because that's what true leadership is. That's what true being a healer is, to show and being a mirror, so that you're your own healer. You can literally do your own work on your own. Yes, we do need mirrors at times, but you know, like, if you can cultivate that in the world, like, universe is perfectly created to do that for you. So, if you want to empower yourself and get to know yourself on a whole new level of nervous system level, and work with your shadows, and I'm sure you've been doing that work, because there's nobody that's not doing that work in this day and age, but like doing it consciously, doing it like really curiously and presently, and learning to integrate, because it's all about the integration work, right? Like, okay, we know these things, but are we operating and continuing to being the victims of our circumstances with that knowledge, or are we like really bringing resolution and resolving those things and bringing into the body? And that the means at this time, there's donation programs for the community. If you want to buy someone's course and support them in their journey, like, of healing, that's also much appreciated. It's part of the program. So yeah, that's that there. I'm going to be putting the links up there. If you have any questions, if you want to do one-on-one work with me, you can direct message me. I'll send you the links to apply. If you're an entrepreneur or solopreneur who are ready to go beyond, or dial in your visions, and like really step into your leadership, there are also programs. It's called Visioneership. That's how I'm supporting people and entrepreneurs and solopreneurs in that realm, really stepping and dialing in the leadership, visionary leadership. So yeah, if you have any questions about anything that I do, direct message me. I'm a real person. I'm gonna respond to you. I love you so much. Have a beautiful, beautiful weekend, and I'll see you on Tuesday. Take care of yourself, and don't forget this. This is your biggest ally. Bless.